Yesterday was a very, very sad day in America. Yesterday was a day that we could have easily been overcome by despair and evil. I don't know anybody who wasn't saddened, tearful, frightened. I don't know anybody who hasn't felt that what is happening in America is evil. I mean people on the left and the right. I should say people who are Republicans and Democrats and independents. We all feel something, and it's not good. Our Capitol was breached, but yesterday wasn't the first time. Because our Capitol, our true Capitol, doesn't exist in Washington, D.C. Our Capitol exists in our homes, our families, our businesses, our sovereign self. That is the real Capitol that has been breached long ago. What happened yesterday in Washington, D.C. is an example of what's happening to all of us all over our nation for months, years, perhaps even decades. And like the police in Maryland, we weren't prepared for the assault. Many times we just allowed it to happen. Sometimes some of us just went along with it. Just like it appeared on the footage that I think all of us have seen now. Somebody opened up the fences and we just let people who would pillage our fortress walk right in. We've allowed our children to be assaulted. We've allowed them to be taught things we know are not right. We let them change our traditions, our history, our math, our science. We've allowed our Capitol to be breached and assaulted. And sometimes the assault came from others. We allowed them to make us doubt our own knowledge, to turn away from the truth that we feel in our hearts, to deny what we saw and heard and could verify of what was happening. Sometimes we assaulted ourselves. We lost faith in principles. We lost faith in ourselves. We lost faith in our country. And worst of all, I know a lot of people will say that, oh, I believe in God. Do you? I think many of us have lost our faith in God. Some of us have allowed ourselves to be violated for being old-fashioned and not woke enough. We saw the assault happening on our families. We didn't stand up. We allowed the media and the government and the village to tell us what was best for our family instead of trusting our God-given instinct and power over the dominion of our own family. The Capitol that we all have built in our own churches. The assault has been happening there. We didn't band together and tell the Marxists to stay out, to let us worship according to the dictates of our conscience. We allowed people to convince us that somehow we hated homosexuals because we didn't feel our church needed to teach that homosexuality is just okay. I know homosexuals. I work with homosexuals. I've hired homosexuals. Got many, many friends and employees that are homosexual. I don't have a problem with it. It's not what I think is right, but I'm not judging them. I ask that they don't judge me. I'm sure they think a lot of things that I do not right. We're all flawed. We're all flawed. I'm not going to judge you. You live your life. I live my life. You teach your children, I teach my children. You go to your church, I'll go to my church. That's what makes us fundamentally American. How many times did we grow up hearing our grandparents or our parents say, yeah, just don't get into it. It's no big deal. Let's not talk about that. So many other important things. That's America. We have to learn to get together and get along with one another. But that capital has been breached long ago. Last summer, for 90 days, we saw our state capitals, the capitals that we all built in our own businesses and our own neighborhoods, all summer long, an all-out assault on every part of the American way of life. As a nation, we stood by and literally watched an assault on our businesses, our homes, our children, our thoughts. We watched our freedoms. We watched America's dignity be taken away. And yesterday, we saw another group of people. And I don't mean the group of people that were there on the mall. I mean the people that were inside the Capitol, the ones that were breaking windows, the ones that were truly trying to terrify people inside. The people who came in and just put their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. She doesn't own that desk. We all own that desk. But our capital is not just in Washington, D.C. It's in every single one of us. D.C., it's almost like the Who's down in Whoville. Perhaps our capital means a little bit more. I consider my sovereignty, my family, my religion, my thoughts, my business, my friends, my principles, my integrity, my community, my state, my nation, my ingenuity. That's my capital. And I have devoted myself, as have so many other Americans, to not only make the American dream a reality in my life, but also to help and thrill at the American dream being built in other people's lives. I have given my time, my talent. I have dedicated much of my life, my fortune, my sacred honor to develop the capital that would help me attain the American dream and to help others. Marxists, statists, Nazis, communists, theocrats, autocrats, they have all been assaulting the capital that each of us have and have been building for generations, and it was put on display yesterday. Assault is ugly. It's destructive. It's evil. It's made to tear down and not build up. Fear is not something that is in line with God. When you try to use fear to change people's minds, I got news. That is the definition of a terrorist. I believe Antifa. I think that's a terrorist organization. By the way, there was a big riot in Portland last night. You saw that on the news. Oh, no. That's right. I forgot they don't cover that. Abusive spouses. That's what assault is. It's an abusive spouse, and it is made to make you question yourself and live in fear. We need to rebuild the foundations and the walls around our capital, around our virtues, our families, around our belief, our honor. We cannot and will not assault others, but we cannot and will not allow others to assault us either. We are not that which we fight. We must never become the things we despise. And I am so happy to say that most Americans, most of the people that were there yesterday, understand that. And I am so thrilled to say, so far, no one in this audience that I have heard, and no one that I have heard at the Blaze or on this program, certainly, have made an excuse for anybody yesterday. There are many reasons that it happened, but there are no excuses for it. And we can be consistent in condemning it. Whether it's the walls in our nation's capital of Washington, D.C., or the walls of our home and family, the walls of our business in Kenosha, the walls of our faith and our honor, millions of Americans have sacrificed to build our capital. And we must never allow those capitals to be breached. Not from the outside and not from within.